Hello, hello. I'm back. There's no getting rid of me today. There's no getting rid of me this week, and I am completely unapologetic about it as well. Because this week the doors are open to both Be Inspired, the Mastermind, and Be Heard, the program, which are my two programs that I open just twice a year. So for those of you that have been waiting for the Mastermind to be open, the doors are open right now. And for those of you that are in already, I am very excited. We start next week. So I'm going to be having conversations all the way through this week with past alumni, people that have been a part of both Be Heard and Be Inspired, whether they've just come off of the stage a couple of weeks ago or whether they've been in previous alumni, and we're checking out where are they now and what are they doing. So I've just been speaking this morning to Louisa Herridge about her journey. She was on the stage just a year ago when I took the Be Inspired cohort. That time we took them to a TV studio because we were in lockdown. And then I spoke to Sarah Turner of Little Bow Sheep, who on Saturday just gone has completed her first TEDx talk. Now, my guest next is fresh from her international best-selling book campaign. I cannot not believe it. She's putting her hands over her face like she's so very excited about the whole thing. She can barely believe it herself. I, for one, am not surprised in the slightest because she's a bloody genius. Please welcome to my little live this afternoon, Tanya Ibberson, everybody. Hello, you.
Hello, my love.
She's like, is it me that she's
You started saying it, and I forgot you could see me. I did that thing where you forget Danny's watching everything all the time.
Always watching everything all the time. It's one of my superpowers.
It is. Speaking of personal experience, having just come off the stage as well, you were right there, weren't you?
Just come off the stage, just being right there, and I think that your journey to the stage was an interesting one, because I think from an outsider's point of view, people will have you pegged as somebody who's abundantly confident, somebody who, because of the professional capacity in which you work, which is within finance and within accountancy and within money mindset and what have you, they would have you pegged as someone who is just inherently confident when it comes to talking about what it is that you do. But that may not always be the case, Tanya Ibberson. Would I be correct if I was to say that?
You would be 110% correct. Yes, absolutely. I was absolutely terrified of getting on that stage, which was the very reason I was like, okay, I need to do this. There's something going on there. I'm not going to die getting on the stage, but no. I had this fear of, but I can't do it, but I'm going to make a mistake, but I'm going to get it wrong, but everyone's going to laugh at me. But there's just this constant dialogue.
Yeah.
So I know my shit, but getting up on that stage, did I know my shit? Did I really? That was just the whole big piece of it.
It's interesting because one of the things that I share as part of the masterclass that I did a couple of weeks ago is the difference between thinking your shit and knowing your shit. Yes. And you spent a lot of time like seesawing between the two, because like out of flipping heck, I know lots and lots of money type people who work in the money industry, and you really are one of the most phenomenal, caring, gorgeous, kind, intelligent, articulate experts in the field. So for when I first started working with you, was like, Danny, but I just can't get out of my own way to do it. I just don't know what I need to do in order to do it. I just know that I need to work with you. And I was like, girl, I got you. But it really was a journey there. But one of the things that I love about this whole process is everybody that I get to work with, I get to learn from too. It's like this sort of two-way learning situation. And you taught me a lot about money stories, and the way you share your stories is in always such a heartfelt way. So let's go back to the first time that you and I had a conversation about working together, because I'm blessed and lucky that I don't just get to work with you for Be Inspired. I get to work with you on all sorts of things, for all sorts of you.
We've got all the things going on, don't we?
You're stuck with me for all. You decided to jump in for all of the programs that I run. So we're going to be just kicking off Be More, which is for graduates and alumni, people that have worked with me previously. You've obviously done Be Heard. We'll be looking at the content around Move B, with all sort of the Danny Wallace type stuff. And we're going to be working together in lots of different capacities. And you're working within the Fly Anyway Foundation as one of our gold ambassadors, and also going to be advising us from an accountancy perspective as well. And it's ace that we get to do that. But let's go back. Let's go back to our first conversation with each other. Were you scared about embarking on this journey? And if you were scared, why were you scared? And if the answer is no, I'm not going to believe you.
I was absolutely terrified. I'm really, really scared. But equally, I know how important it is, having seen so many incredible people in the past, to share your message. Mm-hmm. And from a logical point of view, I also know it's really important to put yourself in that. And I can watch other people and I can tell other people, you need to be yourself. You need to show up more. People want to see your face. Stop hiding behind a generic profile picture. But for some reason, I couldn't apply that same logic to myself, as a lot of us can't do it.
Right.
For ourselves, could we?
100%.
So for me, it was very much a whole, Danny does this for a living. Danny kicks ass at doing this. Look at all the people that you've worked with before. There is clearly a process to this part. I want to do it more because it's important to me. My message is bigger than me, was the overriding, I'm going to shit my pants. No, I'm not. I've just got to get through it.
Yes.
So it was very much a trust the process. And I knew I was going to be really uncomfortable. I knew there were going to be times when I'd message you and go, Danny, get me off that line because I can't do it. And I did many times. Don't know.
And here's the interesting thing as well. And I say this to everybody when they sign up. I get everybody together right at the beginning. And I actually say to everybody, you are all at some point going to tell me, and I know this is the case because the process is designed as such. It's designed to push your comfort zones. Like nobody works with me because they want to be comfortable, or nobody works with me knowing that the process is comfortable. Otherwise they'd be doing the thing already. They'd already be comfortable with it. But it's always funny that I kind of eyeball everybody right at the beginning of the process, and I'll say everybody will wobble, and you won't just wobble once, you'll wobble a number of times. You will question yourself, and all of the things, especially when you engage in a program like this, all of the things that you may feel impostery about, it's like shaking a tub of popcorn, and all those things are going to come to the surface, and it's up to us to then work through them. And sometimes that'll be in the run up, and sometimes that'll be even on the day. That's when the dragons are going to rear their heads, and that's when we're going to slay those dragons together. And it's the togetherness that's the important bit, is that I think, and you said this, that there's never a point where, even if I'm quiet, that I don't have your back.
No. And that was felt entirely throughout. I mean, right up until 5 minutes before I went on the stage, and there was, I can't remember what the song was that was playing on Amy's fabulous set, but there was a song that she put on, and I went into a complete flat spin. A couple of minutes, I was trying to hold my talk, and I was trying to read it, and I was shaking, and I had to turn my back to the stage because I couldn't hold it together, and I was sobbing, silent sobbing, and you came out of nowhere. You were literally standing in front of me with your hands on my shoulders going, right, come on, let's sort this out. And at no point throughout the entire process were you not right there. So even if I'd gone quiet, you would then be, what's going on, missus? You've gone quiet. What's happening? Yeah. So even if there's people that feel like, well, I'm quiet, I'm going to get left behind, or I'll be all right, I'll just slope off to one side, you're never alone. And the love in the room, the love of the people in the group, the other members that get on stage with you, you're all in it together. And that feeling of togetherness, even when you've been a bit quiet and you can't make all of the sessions, it doesn't matter because they're there anyway.
Yeah, and that's Zoe Bryn just she jumps out of the ground when you need her. I'm like got a pop-up toaster just in everybody's pockets ready to go. But I think that's the important thing. One of the questions I get asked is, how many people can you look after? And the answer is never more than 20. It's never more than 20 because I know exactly how many people I can be there in that. Yeah, I can't be there in that capacity for any more than that, which is why we don't get greedy and say we're going to do this over 5 days, or we're going to have a week of talks and things like that, because I think that would detract from what it is that we create.
That wouldn't work.
So what about the talk writing process? Did you want to be a speaker? Is that what you wanted to be? Or did you come at being inspired for a different reason?
I did want to use the power of my voice, because when I work with clients, I work with them because I'm talking to them one-to-one,
Right.
exactly like we're having a chat now. And there's only so much that writing on social media posts can get you. And a lot of the way that I work with people and the feedback I get is, you weren't at all what I was expecting, even with the posts and the photographs and everything else that you put out there online. So I realized I needed to get my voice out there. So I did want to be a speaker. But I did not want to be a speaker because I'm just scared of being a speaker. So for me, I had to do it in a container. I had to be taught, and I had to feel safe. And just no one else came to mind, really, when it came to who I was going to work with, and that it was going to be you. So
what about the investment? Because you work within money, and when people are investing, it's a sizable investment. To do Be Inspired, it's a sizable, and purposefully so. It's 6 months worth of work with me intensively. We have this incredible experience at the end, and we create all of these assets and what have you. What if somebody out there is thinking, I really can see how this will benefit me. I can completely see how this will benefit me. I really want to do it, but money might be getting in the way. What would you say to that person? Because when I have conversations with people, two things are really important. One is their mental health. So if somebody comes to me and they've got a story that is going to be damaging for them to share with any degree of,
absolutely.
If they're going to kind of talk into stories, right? You speak about money stories and I talk about all the stories. If it's going to be damaging to that person to relive things, and it's going to be damaging to the audience for them to experience and hear things, then it might not be the right time to work with me. They might need to go and get some maybe therapy first or something like that. Even if you're coming at it from a business perspective, we really look at creating great connections. So mental health is a really important thing to me, making sure everybody's safe up here, but also safe from a perspective. I have been on conversations with coaches before where they've told me to take out a loan. They've told me to go and take out a loan or get a credit card and bang it on a credit card when my credit was absolutely shot at and what have you. So it's never something that I would encourage people to do. But I also have made myself uncomfortable sometimes by investing, by putting skin in the game. What would you say to people if they were if money was the thing?
Exactly what you've just said. I mean, you don't want to be putting yourself in a position where you're leaving yourself short. So that's where being on top of your numbers and having an idea of affordability is really important. I've done it before when I've moved money around and thought I'm going to take a bit of a punt on this, and it feels like it's the right thing for me. So I think it's easy to do that. It's a long-term investment. It's a 6-month program, but in terms of the investment, and it is an investment, it's not a cost. It's not I'm going to spend this money and it's going to be gone.
And it's gone.
Exactly. It's about thinking about your longer term picture of where you want the business to go, because you've got all of the work, 6 months every week, with the odd week out for holidays or whatever might be scheduled in there. You've got you for any questions. You've got the support of your entire team and the follow-ups and stuff with Anna, keeping everybody on their toes as Wonder Woman that she is.
Oh, she is a Wonder Woman. The whole program falls apart without our Anna.
There's nothing falls through the cracks with Anna. She's brilliant. But then you get to the end, you've got the build-up to the event, you've got all of the exposure that comes with that and the sharing, you've got the connections. I mean, to talk about money is one thing, but money is not the only resource that you have at your disposal. Time is another really important resource, as are connections. So to be working closely with a team of 19 other incredible speakers who you then have that relationship to then move forward with is not to be underestimated, let alone the assets that you get out at the end of it. So you get your speaker reel, you've got the PR documents that can then come on the back of that as well. The PR on the event of the day is just insane. So it really is about being clear, first of all, where you want your business to go. Because even if you're a little bit wobbly on message and have I got that right, and who do I want to be speaking to, that is all part of the process in the Be Heard the formula that you've put together. You help people get super, super clear on that. So it's about the confidence then when you go to an online networking event or an in-person networking event, they all layer up. They all build up.
So it yields in different ways. It's very much like when people say to me, if I work with you, am I going to get paid to speak? And the answer is, I can't guarantee it.
No.
I can't guarantee it. But if you do what I say, you might, even if you don't get paid to speak on the stage, you can get paid by utilizing and leveraging the experiences that you either create or you get amongst.
Absolutely.
So it's teaching you how to create that return on your investment in different ways, other than just, if I work with you, Danny, will I then be able to charge £10,000 in order to go and speak on stage? The answer is probably not in the first instance.
I mean, that's not to say that you won't. It's just not the right question to ask at the beginning. Because who knows where you're going to be in 6 months. Once you get to the end of that process, it may well be that that's the goal for somebody, and that's completely okay, because the exposure and the audience building that comes with it is fine. Or it may be that that's just the springboard onto, right, what's next? Which is how I now feel. It's just kind of, now what?
Now what? Because you went from Be Inspired, which is a big deal in and of itself in terms of positioning. So there's all eyes on us. There's a lot of people, thousands of people kind of watch what it is that we do. And it's a great sort of audience introducer for a lot of the people that are on the stage there. Then you went straight into a book launch. So you were working with the glorious Abigail Horn, who she is just phenomenal. But you brought out, I'm looking around, but it's on my dining room table because I've been reading it. I'll be sat with a brew in the morning reading my book. Show us your book, babes.
Are you ready? It's coming in.
Look at it. Oh, it looks beautiful, with a cover that's been designed by Be Inspired alumni and friend of IATQB, Nikki James. Has done the most phenomenal job of that front cover.
Amazing. I'm so happy with it. She did my branding as well. So to be able to say, is there any way you can combine this with the branding? And she's just like, it was almost on to hold my beer moments, but just that genius where it could only have taken her 5 minutes, but it could have taken her 100 hours, because it would have taken me bloody forever to pull off anything like that. She's just got an eye for making it look amazing.
She's a clever sausage. She's a very, very clever sausage.
So happy.
But that book went bestseller internationally in how many different categories? Like, you were like kicking all kinds of people off the top spot.
No, I did. I got 8 confirmed screenshots. I thought I got 9, but I didn't confirm. But we'll settle for 8. I'm happy with that.
It's better than a kick of the chuff, I tell you that much. It was amazing to watch and to see the support that you got as well. So all of that kind of positioning piece that you've done around Be Inspired, all of the you used to show reel as part of your book launch as well. You utilize, the assets that we were able to generate for you to create this momentum wave towards this next thing that you've created. So now it's like, now we've done all of those, what we're going to do next. Tanya, what are we going to do next? We're planning that this afternoon, aren't we?
I know. Well, TEDx would be something that would just be incredible to be able to go for. And I saw that you had your two ladies doing it. It was just this last weekend, was it?
Just Saturday, just gone. Lizzie Jackson Barrett and Sarah Turner.
Incredible. That is absolutely the goal for me now.
And they were just on the last cohort. So, it's the world is your oyster. They literally, and they got off the stage and decided, TEDx for them was going to be the next thing. They wanted to make sure they were moving, because the travesty could be is that you do this and not you, but anybody who participates in this gets to be inspired, does Be Inspired, and then they go and not do anything with it.
Yeah, I get that, because I came off the stage, and it's a big thing. It's a really, really bloody big thing. So I came off the stage, and it was just like that whole snow globe of being shook up and not quite knowing how to find my feet.
Is this me? I'm famous now. People are stopping me. Like, people are coming over to me to tell me how amazing I am, and
which is overwhelming. And I really do struggle to accept that. I really, really find it hard. And I know it's not particularly attractive, but so I'm working on it. But then I went into the book, and now I'm back at the same spot of, oh my God. But it's about keeping that momentum going, which
Yeah.
it's not the easiest of things to do. But again, you've been there for that. So it's,
Right.
I've had so much support from everybody around me, which is just incredible. You're never just sort of left, right, you're done now, bugger off. I'm working with somebody
Bye.
else now next week. See you later. That's just not how it works, which is, again, it's the way it should be done. So anybody who's looking to do any sort of speaking or even considering it, you could just do the be heard bit just from the point of view of solidifying your message and getting super, super clear on it's okay to include part of you in what you're talking about. Then even just doing that is a massive, massive step in the right direction. And it's a fantastic investment.
Oh, and it's just been a pleasure. I can't wait for everything that's coming up next for you as well, like including getting a TEDx, in the bag whilst we're working together and all of that.
You'll have to come with me to hold my shoulders again.
100%. I was so devastated I couldn't be there for Lizzie and Sarah. So Tammy has said this beautifully. Tammy Green was a member of our Be Heard last time and was unsure from a financial standpoint, never invested in herself before, and joined the standard Be Heard, and then bumped herself up. She upgraded because she could see how worth it was when she'd got in, and we just had the most fantastic time. And Tammy's doing phenomenal things now, even more, building that momentum. Zoe is also our alumni. Yes, I get that too. It's difficult to take when people say how much they liked or got from it, because it's difficult, isn't it, to receive? You think, oh, are they just blowing smoke up my ass because I've just walked off stage? And I have to say to everybody, who goes to an event and then watches somebody who's shit and then goes, I must go and speak to that person and tell them they were dead good? They just wouldn't come and talk to you.
That's very true. That is very, very, very true. I mean, I think the biggest thing I was worried about was getting up there and going blank and completely forgetting. And actually, in the end, that is pretty much what happened. But because of the process that you take us all through, it wasn't all completely lost. I had the slides anyway. So it all came out all right in the end. It wasn't
came out
my
more than
idea
all
of
right.
perfect, but we were, because of the process, because of everything we worked through, the worst thing as far as I was concerned, apart from falling off the stage or bouncing my ball and smashing the lights, I didn't do either of those.
Neither of those happened.
Neither of those happened, but I did forget everything and I was still all right. So
you were still all right.
Just to have that confirmation of, see, the worst happened and you were still fine. Now I know I can do it again.
Fine.
And hopefully my brain won't seize up on me. But if it does, you know what?
If it does, you know you've got it. You'll be absolutely fine. Well, Tanya, thank you so much for chatting.
No problem. Thanks so much for inviting me. Always a pleasure.
Speak to you a little bit later on as well. But if anybody is thinking about joining Be Inspired or Be Heard, what would you say to them, Tanya Ibberson?
Oh, get on the train. Just do it. Just do it. It's a massive push to do what you want to do. So you won't regret it. Oh. Absolutely not. And if anybody's got any questions, feel free to DM me for any worries or anything. I don't mind at all. So please do ask away.
Thank you so much, Tanya. Have a lovely afternoon and thank you for joining me.
You're very welcome. Take care.
That was Tanya Ibberson, the financial wingwoman, international best-selling author and speaker, professional speaker now. She is absolutely phenomenal. Please do go and check her out across the socials. Financial wingwoman, that's Tanya Ibberson. If you do want to know more about all of IATQB packages, so whether you want to look at Be Heard Pro, Be Inspired, then please do. If you're on, this won't show up if you're in the Hive, but if you're on my personal profile, if you're on LinkedIn, if you're on YouTube, if you're on the Queen Bee Danny page on Facebook, the link to book in should just have popped up there. If it hasn't and you can't see it, but you do want to have a natter with me, just drop me a DM, just click message and drop me a message and we will get a little natter booked in. Doors close this Friday. I'll be back at around 7 p.m. I think 7 p.m. Let me double check so I'm not mis-selling you anything. I'll be back Yes, 7 p.m. I'm going to be talking to the gorgeous Nikki Kinsella for some Friday evening energy, talking about Nikki's experience since she was on the Be Inspired stage. So thank you for joining me this afternoon. Have a lovely one. I'm going to go and grab a bite to eat before I go and do some training. I'm walking the talk this afternoon. I'm doing some training in a phenomenal group, and also got some one-to-ones and feedback sessions this afternoon as well. I'm a busy bee, but I would have it no other way. Thank you for joining me. I will see you at 7 o'clock this evening for another cheeky little live draw.